everyone, it's Rebekah with McArthur Library, and I wanted to show you the process, or at least part of the process, of how I created this year's summer learning program design. So this area behind me, this landscape, this is where I collected a lot of the foraged finds that I used in the design, such as the pine tassel and this maple leaf. This is the exact leaf that I scanned in and vectorized. And these pieces of grass, they created some really interesting shapes that I wanted to use in contrast with my drawings. So here's the basket that I have full of the different things that I scanned and vectorized into the program called Adobe Illustrator that I used to create the logo. Here's another one of the flowers. So if you look back at the logo, you may see some of these shapes in there and recognize them. So here's another one. I just found all of these things really interesting, little pieces of moss. So now I'll head back into the studio and show you part of the drawings. Hey, so now we're in the studio and I wanted to show you some of the artwork that I made for it and how I pulled that together with the scanned images of the found objects outside. So the lilies started as watercolor paintings, and I tried to scan them in and vectorize them as paintings, but it didn't go so well. So I took these drawings and used these pens called uni pens, and it created a nice solid line that I needed in order to scan them and bring them into the program that I use. And so here's the double lily that's in the front. This is the one I ended up sticking with. And let's see some other drawings. Some of these ended up in the final design. These are just little doodads that I drew to have as like little accents here and there. The birds, you might recognize the birds. They started off as sketches. These thorns were not in the design. That's for another project. Here's the frog, the ladybug, the bee. So now let's see if there's any others. I may have used some of these too. Some other sketches. So the program that I use is called Adobe Illustrator, and here's the folders of the various designs. Let's see, here's some, okay, so I'll show you some of the scans for the foraged finds. So I don't know if you can see that, but all of these pieces, let's see if I can pull this closer. That leaf that you saw outside is now right here, and the pine tassels are here. Here's a feather, here's that plant. So when I brought them into Adobe Illustrator, I threw some color on them and just played around with the arrangements. One of the files that I have shows you, let's see, this one. Nope. Oh, yes, shows you the critters. So those drawings, I didn't end up using this robin. I'll use her in something else, but the drawings of, like, here's the bee. This is the bee just as line. And here's the birds right here. Here's one of the birds. Here's the ladybug. I can zoom in on it and show you bigger. Here's the ladybug. Here's one of the birds. So this is all before color. So I talked about this program being Adobe Illustrator. Just to give you an idea how Illustrator works versus Photoshop, all of these little blue dots that you see here are called anchor points, and each one of them can be moved. If I have the direct selection tool, I could move, sorry, now it's gonna like lie, but here we go. See, I could move this anchor point and change the shape. I'll put that back. So basically what happens with Adobe Illustrator is that you're working in vectors versus pixels. So even if we were to enlarge this the size of a billboard, it wouldn't lose the quality and the resolution. So it's a really versatile program to work in, and I'll see if I can find some files of how I started coloring them. Let's see, here's my file called Library Logo. And these are all the various revisions that I have of the logo. I'm trying to find the original right here. So here's my actual file of the logo. And all of these individual pieces were colored and then arranged using some different brushes, and I'll show you some swatches. So before I just started coloring the entire document, I decided on a set of colors that I would use. And I ended up sticking with a lot of these, but in the final logo, I simplified it a lot. So let's get back to the logo. So here's the actual logo. And the way that some of these get colored is that I use this thing right here called the Wacom tablet, or Wacom. Different people say it differently. And this pen. And so if I were to grab a color over here, give you a little sneak. So let's say I grabbed this green and I had a brush right here. I could literally just start, oh, that wasn't green. Hang on. Make the brush bigger so you can see. I could literally just start drawing, and there, I made a shape. That's not quite how I drew this whole thing. Nothing was really freehand because I like drawing freehand with traditional media, so that's why I used my sketchbook and pens. So just to show you one of the things. So see these little ones right here? Here is that shape. Oops, it's all grouped together. Hang on. Look at all those anchor points. There's thousands. Okay. Let's see. I'll ungroup it for a minute. So actually, you know what? I can do this. All right, so do you see this right here? I'll zoom in. This shape right there is from one of these. So that's how that translates from my freehand drawing, me just, drawing, doodling, into the program. And I could change the color of this by just clicking on a different color. But I don't want to do that because then I'll change my file. But just to show you kind of how it all comes together. So I hope that helps. And it was hours of work. I started it back in March. And I feel really proud of it because this was the first motif or design that I made in Illustrator, because I didn't know this program until I started learning it back in March. So I'm really appreciative of all of you who bought a shirt and will wear this design. And thank you for checking out the wild side.